Breaking news in the case of Los Angeles Clippers owner Donald Sterling. The NBA Advisory and Finance Committee has met via conference call late today. They've been discussing the process for terminating Sterling's ownership. They unanimously agreed to move forward as expeditiously as possible, and they're going to meet next week. We're going to have more on that in just a few moments. But first, new details on Donald Sterling's other woman. We've told you about V. Stiviano, the woman at the center of the scandal, who is believed to have recorded and leaked the racist comments that led to Sterling being banned from the NBA. Now, according to new documents obtained by CNN, Sterling and his wife Rochelle were involved in a legal battle in 2002 with another one of his mistresses. Deb Farrick is out front with the latest on the Sterling case, along with our legal analyst Sunny Hostin and Steve Adubato. Okay, great to have all of you with us. So Deb, you know, as we're trying to get to the bottom of who this man was, what he was like, why people looked the other way for so long, this string of mistresses is very central to this. I mean, who is this other woman? And I know her name is Alexandra Castro, but you found out more about her.
And what's interesting is every time that the Sterlings sue, we actually learn more about the relationship between the Sterlings, actually. Alexandra Castro is a young woman who Donald Sterling met back in 1999. She was 27 at the time. The two began a relationship. The information we're getting does come from a lawsuit. This powerful couple, Donald Sterling and his wife, they decide to enter into a business relationship with this young woman. It's a verbal business relationship in which she is going to show them a home, and then they're going to agree to purchase it, and she will remodel it. Once this is all done, they're going to sell the home and they're going to split the proceeds, the profits. Well, it happens that they split in 2002, Donald Sterling and this woman, Alexandra Castro, and then all of a sudden the Sterlings decide once again they're going to sell the property. So it's really foreshadowing the exact same lawsuit that was brought against this young woman, V. Stiviano, as well.
All right, so the case is very similar to the Stiviano case, as is this woman similar to V. Stiviano, right? I mean, how so?
Well, what's very interesting is there's always a huge age difference between Donald Sterling and these young women. They're both in their late 20s when they meet. They spend a couple of years together, break up in their early 30s. Both women are Latina. Both women claim that Sterling gave them gifts, including million-dollar properties, both of them in Beverly Hills. Castro did acknowledge that she had a sexual relationship with Donald Sterling. V. Stiviano, the most recent woman, said no. She acknowledged that Donald Sterling was in love with her, but that she was not his girlfriend.
So she's an archivist.
She's an archivist. Yes. She's
and there's a deposition. He's talked about their relationship together.
Yes. There was this brutal deposition that shows up on SmokingGun.com, and in that deposition, Castro's lawyer accuses Sterling of being evasive and questions his credibility, something obviously Sterling's lawyer rejects. But in it, apparently, Sterling says, quote, she was the best of the best sex that anybody ever had.
He called her worse than that.
Yeah, and he called her much worse than that. And the interesting thing is that in this lawsuit, basically Rochelle Sterling said that Castro threatened if she went public with this, that Castro would allege that Rochelle Sterling herself was having an affair.
But I think what's fascinating is that in that lawsuit, Rochelle Sterling also sued this woman. And that is what I think is so fascinating, because it appears that the Sterlings are quite the unit, right? It's almost as if
they're in cahoots. They're in cahoots.
They're almost in business together, because the lawsuit that I have with V. Stiviano, Rochelle Sterling sues her alone. But in this other lawsuit, they sued together. And so what does that mean, I think, in terms of the future of the Clippers? Everyone's saying now, there's some reports, I believe, that the Clippers are owned by a family trust. You mean to tell me that
she could take control?
Rochelle Sterling is very much a part of this scenario. She is very much a player with the Clippers debacle.
Rochelle Sterling, in my opinion, has destroyed her public reputation. When you have a second case where she is involved and says, look, okay, so my husband is having a relationship, sexual or otherwise, it's hard to be clear, but this happened in 2002. This last case just happened before, and she sues the woman, saying, I want back what my husband gave you. Where is the public sympathy? Where is the sense that the public says, you know what, you are an innocent victim here. You're the scorned wife. We want you to take over the Clippers.
This is kind of, I mean, houses on Rodeo Drive, gifts,
this is not with Visor lady. This is with Ms. Castro. She got house on Rodeo Drive. She was asked to quit her job allegedly, got $4,500 per month allegedly in this suit. This
But
is
he calls her
crazy
a
stuff.
prostitute.
No, it
he
is.
says
He called her a prostitute.
Allegedly, and he says that he paid her every time they had sex $500.
And again, and this is the exact lawsuit
In
in
addition
which
to a
the
$1 million
lawyers are
home.
questioning his credibility,
That's right.
whether he's lying under oath, and that's
Right.
a huge, question mark
But
that's
you take
outstanding
that
because we don't
case,
have all the documents.
And you take the V. Stiviano case, and you have a pattern of behavior of this man and who he was,
Yes.
as well as his wife and her role, that makes you ask, really?
And here's the
No one
thing.
said anything
No
about
one
this
said
guy
Here's the
for
thing,
20
and
years,
we are not
30 years.
talking. Sorry for interrupting, Erin.
No.
We are not talking about a pattern of behavior that was incredibly discreet. We are talking someone who was on the sidelines with the woman with the visor,
Yeah.
V. Stiviano. We are talking about a man who was an owner of this team for all these years with this other woman with a lawsuit that a lot of people knew about. We're talking about a guy who settles the largest court case with the federal government, the Department of Justice, for $2.8 million for housing discrimination against blacks and Latinos. The point is, this is a bad character that the NBA let get away with this for a long time. And Rochelle, the wife, for her to in any way try to imply that somehow, I can't believe this is happening. To me, anyone who lets her get away with that, forget about from a legal point of view. I respect your
She
point
was
of view on that,
complicit.
Sonny.
She was
She was
completely
complicit
complicit
in terms
in all
of
of this
public
for years.
opinion, in terms of just a benefit of the
Erin
doubt.
is
You can't
together.
give her
Well,
any
she
benefit of
certainly
the doubt.
knew that he was
It's open
sleeping with other women and
notorious.
buying them
the
homes and
relationships
Ferraris.
have all been open and notorious, and that's sort of a legal term. But I think that that's what's fascinating. What I also think is fascinating in terms of the bigger picture here. We know that the NBA met today, right, to try to take away this team from Donald Sterling. He is so litigious. His wife is so litigious.
Sure.
We haven't heard anything from Donald Sterling because he is lawyered up. I suspect he is meeting with his lawyers, and he is not going down without a fight. Buckle your seatbelts, because we are
He's-
going to see some
That's
legal
what he says
maneuvering
now.
that we've never seen.
That's what he says now. But he's going to be forced. He's going to be pressed. And let me tell you something. In the end, the amount of money I think they're going to lose in this, he is going to ultimately, in my opinion, he's going to fold. He's going to have no choice.
I
And very
completely
quickly, and very
disagree.
quickly,
He's gonna
and very,
Sonny, he's gonna
very-
fold.
but
No
we-
way.
We
He
spoke
may
to
not
a number.
care.
We spoke to a number of people who basically said that the Sterlings file lawsuits for sport. They are mean. They are vindictive. They come
They've got
after
kids.
you.
They've-
I mean,
they don't-
think about it. Think about it. What they're going after $1.1 million.
Exactly.
This woman Castro, when they're worth
The
more
stakes
than
are
$1
different
billion.
now. Deborah,
You
the
know,
stakes are
it's
different
crazy.
now.
It's crazy.
They're totally
I mean,
different. His
that just
reputation
goes-
is on the
come
line
on.
in a different
But
way.
that's different than
Take that
those
wager.
cases.
Those cases, that's chump change to them. I think
But they
everything's
did
on the
it
line
anyway.
now.
But they did it anyway.
I think the
that's
stakes are
point.
different now.
And I love your point that people say that they use the system as sport. We see that oftentimes in the legal system with people that have that kind of money and
Yeah.
that type of access to that type of lawyer. I mean, we're talking about very, very skilled, highly paid attorneys.
Yeah.
And let's
$800 an hour attorneys.
At least, at least.
Playing in
I'd
the
like to
minor
say,
leagues than major
when I
leagues
was
today.
in private practice, I charged quite a bit as well. But
That's good for us to know, Sonny.
But the bottom
So we can
line
work
is,
something out.
I really believe that we are going to see a significant lawsuit, possibly an antitrust type lawsuit. This story is not going away anytime soon. Anytime
But
soon.
Mrs. Sterling's going
And
to be
this
a
is
part
about
of it.
ego. It's about ego.
She's going to be a part of this case.
Thanks to all. And still to come, a who's who of wealthy celebrities lining up to buy the Clippers. So how much is it going to cost? How much money is Donald Sterling going to get? Well, we have the answer. Plus a shocking story out of Nigeria, 200 women kidnapped, perhaps sold into sexual slavery. We've been covering the story, and we have a special report tonight from Lagos.